It's lights out and away we go, and I don't think Gibbo's got a good start. He's going to get attacked immediately by the Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri. Can he stay ahead of turn one? Ooh, gets a bit difficult through there, I should say. And that's Morgan immediately under threat from the drivers behind. Lee jumps up into P2. Gibbo remains in P1. We've got a virtual safety car. So there is an AlphaTauri that is not facing the right way. That is Cross. So he's had an incident at turn 1, and all the positions get changed at the moment. But we are now green light racing, and it's right into turn 1 as well, so that would be a bit difficult. So Gibbo's gap he had on Lee definitely reduced. It's Lee and Howarth. Sorry, Howarth made up some positions as well, jumping up to P3. But Morgan is probably struggling because he was on that hard tyre, so he's chosen to struggle to begin with on the hards. And hopefully it pays off later on. But these medium runners around him are going to be looking to get by. I wouldn't be surprised if Dickerson and Charavan and Mutu look to get by as well, and the top 3 start pulling away from him. But Lee already on the back of Gibbo. He is not going to make this easy. I'm trying to find our closest battle, and it looks like it's Sharp who is making way, and that's a Ferrari and an Alfa Romeo that we're going side by side through there. And sorry, it's Alfa Romeo and McLaren, I should say. Looks like that position is already done. We'll go back on board the leaders. And it's Gibbo across the line first with the fastest lap. Lee actually takes the fastest lap. And yeah, as I suspected, the top 3 have all pulled away from Morgan. The hard tyres just not being the tyre for this circuit, and he's clearly struggling. It just takes a bit longer to warm up those tyres and really get them into the get them going. We have a close battles on the track. Beck's also chosen to go with the hard tyres, and he's currently in a bit of a DRS train here. You have DRS activated this lap, and there are 3 DRS zones on this track. Or is it 4? It might be. No, sorry, there's 4 DRS zones on this track. So, yeah, when you're in front of someone, it's going to be very hard to lose them. And just as I say that, Lee's got the overtake done on Gibbo and moved up. Dickerson all over the back of, well, I think Jackson has just got past Dickerson on the soft compound, and now he's on the back of his teammate. Don't be surprised if a bit of team orders coming here, and Jackson's like on the radio to Morgan, be like, let me by, I'm on the fresher compound. He's in DRS, and then hopefully Jackson can sort of drag Morgan back into contention of this top 3. We got Sharp and Vernon Higgs battling. They go side by side for the last corner. As it takes us to an unfavourable camera angle a bit further down the straight. But Sharp looks like he's got that position done. Vernon Higgs is going to come back at him into turn 1. And even then, the Ferrari and the Alpine behind as well. Beck and Savage. And Vernon Higgs has got that move done. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sharp comes straight back at him, as Vernon Higgs has used up all of his ERS now. And Vernon Higgs also defending... Sharp also defending from Beck, which has been able to successfully pull off. Back on board with Charavana Mutu, who is right behind Dickerson. Currently the Royal Artillery Army Air Corps team with no points on the board. And today look to change that. Charavana with a nice move around turn 11 to get past Dickerson and start the charge on Morgan. And the switch has happened between the 2 Remy drivers. Morgan has stepped by to let Jackson through. And on those fresh softs, Jackson could start to pull a bit closer as the safety car's been called. And I don't know if that's right as the top 3 have all gone by. And Howarth has pulled the trigger. He's decided, I'm boxing straight. And we get underway again. Lee gets a pretty good drive. And looks to break the toe, actually, as well. From Jackson. No switch battle positions there. Further down, it all looks fairly close. Dickerson and Cross switch positions, 13th and 14th there. Lee's got away well, and I don't know if Giver's going to end up being held up by Jackson, because at this point, those softs have, you know, he's been able to manage them a bit under the safety car, but I guarantee they're still losing quite a bit of life, and they've probably lost more than what these guys have got. That's Blakey out of the session now as well. But it seems to be retiring on track perfectly fine. Gibbo has now got past Jackson. That was easier than it probably looked. Oh, sorry, harder than it probably looked. It looked fairly easy. That's what I'm trying to say. Go back on board with Proven, and he is getting by Howarth. Well, sorry, no, he's battling Howarth. And Howarth has moved up into P6 now. He's obviously with the fresh rubber, and he's looking to go down the inside of Vernon Higgs as well. Howarth is on a mission, going side by side with Vernon Higgs now. And he's now sitting behind him. Look how good that fresh rubber is. On fresh hards, Vernon Higgs hasn't hit. And now he's going to go side by side down the straight. He is close enough. He's going to have to brake a little bit later into turn 1. Chooses to back out of it before getting to turn 1, though. And maybe attack on this next straight. Tries to go for a dive on down the inside. Vernon Higgs leaves the space. But it is just a bit too much there. However, wants to get a move on and get onto the back of these 5 because he knows he's going to be under pressure coming towards the end of this race. But he can definitely win it today. All over the back of him, and Vernon Higgs goes very wide there. And Howarth says, thank you very much. I will take that. And it looks like Proven's also going to try and go for it. So Vernon Higgs going back at Howarth and trying to go side by side. As Jackson picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He has now moved out of the way for his teammate Morgan, who obviously is probably in the best position of these 3 drivers right now. And that is Sharp out of the race. Is that going to cause a safety car? Nothing yet. It'd be a gamble if anyone boxed now, expecting a safety car. It has not come out, so we're going to keep driving. Sharp's now out of the race, which is unfortunate. He was having a really good drive there. And Morgan is almost in DRS. DRS is now enabled. And Jackson now comes into the pit. So does Core. So does Proven. Those tyres are at their limit. Bell now trying to hold up Corey so Charavana can get by. But Corey's got the DRS. Obviously, Bell hasn't pitted yet. Charavana has, so he's got the fresh rubber. There's just nothing he can do right now. But Corey is definitely being held up by Bell. Every corner looks like he's taking a defensive line. And Charavana just says, I'm going to go for it. Bell goes wide onto the grass. Corey goes around the outside. He's dealing with both McLarens. And that is Charavana Muntu having a drift there on the on the last corner. The car was pretty much going sideways. He gets the move done. In the background, it's Dickerson and Beck having a fairly good battle. But Beck's going to try and come back at Dickerson now. Dickerson moved up into P8 with a DRS. Beck's going to try and go down the inside. Dickerson doesn't go defensive, but Beck can't get a move done. Dickerson up to P8, Beck down to P9, Charavana Muntu up to P6. Oh, and that was Beck having a moment there. As I said that, a lot of these drivers pushing hard. As that Charavana Muntu was all over the curb there. Keep you on board with the top 3. Gibbo is still hanging on to Lee. So maybe just playing for ERS, as they know they're not going to get rid of each other with 4 DRS zones. So, there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. We're on board with Charavana Muntu when that... In his last 14 laps, who is going to come out on top? There's several different cores here that could do it. Howarth is now heading down the straight. Everyone's, sort of a similar distance behind, other than Savage and Jackson. Jackson's going to try and get the overtake done on Savage immediately after crossing the start-finish line. I think he may have done it a bit early, actually, because he backed out of the move, so maybe had to give that place back. Bell and Corey having a battle that sees Bell get ahead of Corey up into P9. Jackson still over the back of Savage, and Savage going all the way across the road there. He almost lost it coming out of turn 3. Proven on the back of Jackson as well. 3 drivers very close. Jackson on the back of Savage, still wanting to get this move done. And Lee has got the move done on Dickerson. He's got Gibbo on his back. And I think Gibbo's going to get the move done as well. Dickerson fighting hard as they bump wheels. And Dickerson forces Gibbo off the track. And that allows Morgan to get the move done on Gibbo. That's crucial there. That might be one for the stewards. But we'll see if it was all fair and love and war or not. But Dickerson's definitely under threat from Morgan now. The fresh rubber out of the last corner is just so much more effective. And that's proven at an absolute nightmare. Is now falling right down the order. But still driving his car. So as long as he's got all 4 wheels on it. That's still a bonus compared to the bottom 5. Savage now serving his drive-through penalty. Dickerson down to P4. Morgan's got the move done on him. And Gibbo is now going to have another go on him to try and get that position made up. Lee's on the back of Howarth as well. It's going to be a switch for the leaders. Bell picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Track limits. Oh, and Lee's getting all out of shape there. Almost loses the back end of the car. I think you can feel the presence of Morgan, who's obviously on that softer compound. And he's coming through. Howarth loses out on the position to Lee. And I think Morgan's going to get the position as well. Not quite yet, but it's coming. Howarth trying to stay with Lee, but it's going to be a very big ask. He's on much older tyres. You've got Corey on the back of Beck. Corey up to P8. He's actually managed to get back past Bell. And Bell almost going into the back of Corey. He's carried a lot of more speed than Corey through there. And almost goes into the back of him. But not quite. And that was Bell going very wide there. DRS has now been enabled, so if they're within a second, they can activate the DRS and get about an extra 20 kilometers per hour. So Morgan going to try and get the move done on Howarth this time, and he goes for it. Gets the move done. The Ferrari still sticks it in there. Not able to get done. Gibbo did get the move done on Dickerson, and now Gibbo is going to try and pass Howarth as well, as Howarth is going to just start struggling backwards on the older tyres. But Lee now out in front by 1.5 seconds. Morgan's got the fresh rubber to try and catch him, though. Let's see if it's possible. But Howarth is definitely going to try and hold on for a podium. I don't think it's going to be possible, but he's definitely going to try. And that's Gibbo going for a really good move coming out of turn 12 there. On the exit, the chicane. They're still battling. Gibbo swerving left and right. Sort of intimidating Howarth at this point. And Proven has retired from the session. Has brought out a safety car. Does anyone box? It's up to Lee if he chooses to box. He's on the hard compound. I would argue box now for a set of softs. All right, Lee's going to get us back racing once again through the final corner. Morgan a bit slow out of there, but someone's a bit slower is Dickerson, who's got Jackson all over the back of him. Lee tries to break the toe once again. Doesn't manage it. No changes of positions so far going into turn 1. Everyone fairly switched on with it. No positions further back as Bell is all over the back of Court, actually. And Bell's going to try and go down the inside of Court. Court says no chance, and it's going to leave him very open to Howarth. I'll just show you the difference in these tyre compounds now. Oh, so Bell and Court. Oh, and Howarth ends up going to the back of Bell. Hopefully that is no damage to the car there. As Bell was pretty much going sideways. And Howarth's going to go for one overtake. Is he going to get the other one done as well? On the same corner. Oh, Bell, a little bit of wheel bump in there. And that's a Ferrari in the gravel. That's Beck in the gravel at the chicane at turn 12. Looks like he still kept the car going. So he's all right in that regard. But still top 3 unchanged. Jackson's making his way back into this fight for the Remy. The Remy looking in the best position. If we're looking at it from a core standings point of view, P2 and P4. I do believe Jackson had a 3-second time penalty, so if Corey stays in there, to give some good points, he can even push ahead of him. But Howarth, already up to 6th position. He was down in 11th. He's got up 5 positions in 1 lap, so he definitely still has a chance of winning this race. I think he's been managed to get away lucky there with no wing damage, and he's going to absolutely tear past Corey here. Corey's gone defensive. And at the half, got that inside. Actually, both break really late there. And they both missed the apex. If they broke on time, one of them actually got the apex. They could have got the overtake done. Now Gibbo with the DRS. I don't think Morgan will fight too hard because he knows he's got that time penalty. And Gibbo gets that position done. I guarantee that would have been a lot harder for had he not had that penalty. Dickerson, I feel like he's always been behind Corey. He's been behind Corey for a while now. But Corey is now ahead of Dickerson. You can see from his DRS that he was actually behind him at the start of the last corner. Savage and Vernon Higgs battling. And Vernon Higgs does take P9. He's also made his way behind Port now. Well, I don't know which our closest battle is. It's probably Vernon Higgs on court with the DRS. He says thank you very much. Vernon Higgs continues his charge on the soft compound. Dickerson's still behind Corey, and I think they're going to switch positions again going into turn 13. That is correct. Howarth has dropped Jackson. So with that 3-second gap, Howarth can still take the third place. It's not been a bad race for Howarth, I'd say. The switch between first and second again. Morgan retakes the lead. See, net lead is still with Gibbo. And Corey retakes Dickerson again. These two are just having a friendly battle, I'd say. Yeah, Corey, gets past on the start-finish straight, and then Dickerson gets past on the back straight. And it'll just do that to the end now. Savage is on the back of court. About a second in it. That's it. Give it right on the back of Jackson. It was literally a tenth of a second there. As Corey and Dickerson switch positions again. And Corey chooses to sit behind. You can actually hear him downshift early and brake early. Beck picks up a 3-second time penalty, but he's had a race to forget. And that's at least the second time this season I've said that. Corey goes very wide there. Be very surprised that was in track limits. Lee is catching back up with Jackson. At the very least, it was a retake P4. So back on board with Corey. Corey wasn't able to get past Dickerson at his usual point this time. We're on the final lap of this race. And it looks like Morgan still ahead for now. Gibbo, he's going to get ahead based on penalties, but I think he'd like to get ahead on track as well. Once again, it's been a phenomenal drive from Gibbo. Phenomenal pole position as well. It's 2 in a row. And it's also going to be 2 wins in a row. But as Darville has got his got a job to do when he comes back. Because whilst he's been gone, Gibbo has very much taken over. Other drivers have had a chance. Other drivers have had better strategy. But they've just been making mistakes. And Gibbo's going to come across the line to win the F1 Intercore Championship Round 3 in Australia. He comes across the line in first. Morgan in second. And a very hard-fought and well-fought third place for Howarth. Great job from him. Jackson across the line in P4 with the penalties. Puts him down to P5. Lee takes P4. Dickerson across the line with Corey right behind him. P6 for Dickerson. P7 for Corey. P8 for Vernon Higgs. P9 for Court. P10 for Savage. And P11 for Cross. And then finally Beck in P12. So 7 retirements, 10-point scorers. What more could you ask for? All